So, this morning I've been invited to Fineshade Wood to have a look at some really interesting features hiding there in some of the ancient woodland. This is Rockingham Forest, once a vast, unbroken royal hunting ground centred around Rockingham Castle. Today the forest is fragmented into isolated woodlands and plantations, such as Wakeley Woods, Fineshade Wood and Bedford Purlieu's Wood, interspersed with farmland. These woods contain many fascinating remnants of that ancient royal forest. So here we are in Fineshade Wood. I'm here with Barrie Galpin from the Rockingham Forest Vision Project, and we're going to talk a little bit about this curious feature behind us in the woods here.
Yeah, I've been lucky to live in Fineshade for 40 years, and when we moved into the wood, set about exploring it, and most of the woodland is very, very flat clay plateau. And then suddenly one day just came across this feature. And I thought, my goodness, what is this? I have no idea. So I had to set about exploring and researching it.
Excellent. And you mentioned to me that you did visit here recently with someone from a geologist, is that right?
Yeah, my friend Ian Clark, who's the geological recorder for Northamptonshire.
Okay.
He was interested to come and see these. By now we know what to call them, sinkholes or swallow holes, and he was able to explain a bit more about them. Basically, the water has found a way through the clay. There's a thin layer of clay here, and underneath there's limestone. And as you probably know, limestone dissolves very, very slowly. So if the water gets down through the clay, it can then start dissolving the limestone, and that water will perhaps run away through underground aquifers down to the river. And gradually, over a long, long period of time, the rock is disappearing and the clay is just gently coming down into it. So it forms these conical-shaped depressions. And more water collects here, and more water goes down into it. And now, as you can probably see, water has been coming down there and just disappearing into that hole very, very quickly. And it will be really interesting to know what there is down below there.
Yeah, so talking of having a look down below, we've got a few tools at our disposal today to sort of further investigate what's going on here. So we're going to try and get a bit of an overview of some of the site with the drone, just to give us a bit more context of how these features fit into this landscape, which is difficult in a wooded area like this. Another thing that can give us an eye through the trees is something called LiDAR, which is a imaging technique using lasers to essentially see through the foliage and better show up the landscape. And having had a look at the LiDAR survey, I've got a printout here, and this shows up the features on the land really well. So I will display a higher quality version of this on screen, but you can see a feature in the centre of the plot where the stream runs down into some of these depressions, and that's in fact this little gully that we can see behind us. That's probably how a lot of the water's getting down. The LiDAR is a really amazing way of showing those features up, and it also shows up that a lot of the surrounding area here appears to have a sort of ridge and furrow type open field system underneath this woodland that we've got here, which may indicate that some of this area was once ploughed or cultivated in the past, and has since returned to woodland, like a lot of Fineshade we know has. The other thing we're going to use today is a industrial endoscope to try and have a little look into the bottom of the sinkhole and see if we can see anything going on in there. Having been down there just a minute ago, we can actually hear some running water, so I'll be curious to see what we can make out with that.
What fun. Great.
Barrie has been a part of this landscape for over 40 years and has been exploring and getting to know its trees, wildlife, hills and hollows for all that time. This area is North Spinney, and it's one of the fragments of ancient woodland within Fineshade and holds immense value. We ventured carefully down into one of the larger sinkholes to see what we would find. A dark opening at the base of the pit, with a faint sound of running water emanating from below. As we got closer down, we could actually see through the opening into the limestone bedrock below, where the soil is being washed away into. It's amazing to think of the huge volume of overlying soil that has disappeared over the centuries into this little hole. The smooth rock surface tells a story of many years of slow water erosion flowing over its surface. We deployed the endoscope to see if there were any other passageways or anything else we could see that was out of sight from our position. It was a limited view, and we could see some mud, rocks, and a little bit of water, unsurprisingly. Still, we were pleased to get to see some of the underlying geology of the area. The drone really helps to show off the undulations within these woodlands. As Barrie explores amongst these trees, he gives a sense of scale and shape to the land around him, letting us better appreciate its form. Some sinkholes range from deep pits with open mouths to just shallow depressions in the earth that might go unnoticed elsewhere. It all depends on how the holes have been formed. This diagram helpfully explains how the processes of erosion hidden underground manifest as signs on the surface. The nature of the underlying rock plays an important role in how these sinkholes form, but the basic triad of water, limestone, and long lengths of time tends to lead to the formation of sinkholes, one way or another. Like the stone below Ketton, the limestone bed here is riddled with waterways, cavities, and possibly even cave systems connecting to the known aquifers. I've no doubt that there are galleries of calcite formations of stalactites and stalagmites hidden away below, much like we see occasionally revealed at Ketton Quarry when cave systems are blown open using explosives, which reveals the amazing calcite formations within, at least for a time. This other sinkhole had a much larger volume of water running into it, and was quite amazing to think of where that water was heading and when it would next see the light of day. These holes also hinted at the limestone bedrock lurking below the soily surface. In this sinkhole I managed to find a pair of clippers and a new garden fork, which I have salvaged. Barrie recalls in earlier years some ruined structures around one of these pits, with some signs of potential mining. This would not surprise me in the least, as sinkholes offer a ready-made route to the stone below, removing the need for all of the heavy labour removing the overburden of soil or clay. No evidence of this remains today, but it's quite possible that some of these pits may have been altered by the effects of human beings. Let's take a moment now just to absorb the sights, sounds, and atmosphere of this ancient woodland.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's been an absolute pleasure exploring these sinkholes with you this morning, Barrie. Very educational and quite entertaining. So
It has been for me too. Very entertaining.
Excellent. So obviously we've been spending time this morning in a part of Rockingham Forest, and
Yep.
you're a big part of the Rockingham Forest Vision project. So I just wondered whether you tell me and the people watching the video a little bit more about Rockingham Forest Vision and where they can learn more.
Yep. The easiest place to learn more is our website, rockinghamforest.org.uk. We try and update that 2 or 3 times a week. So there's information both about the interesting things in the forest. I hope we'll have a link to this video in due course. And also the things that are coming up, the events. There are guided walks. We're trying to help people locally to appreciate the forest for what it is, and hopefully over a period of time reconnect some of the disconnected bits of woodland which used to extend over a much wider area. But it's been great fun, so thank you very much
Oh,
for
thank
today.
you, Barry. No, and thanks for your good work. So keep it up, and yeah, hopefully we can get another video in Rockingham Forest in the works in the future at some point.
rockinghamforest.org.uk.
Excellent.